Hi everyone. We are back with another Risk Insurance Dialogues interview. Today we have Amy Cooper with us live and in person. She is the CEO and founder of Rise. So thank you so much, Amy, for joining us today.
Thank you, Katie, for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. And to get us started, can you just give a little background of your current role and what you do?
Sure. So I founded Rise back in 2017. I also am Vice President of Carrier Practice at Gallagher Bassett. And with Rise, I really just had gotten started in the industry and was looking for something, couldn't find what I was looking for. So I started Rise, which stands for Rising Insurance Star Executives. We're an insurance community all about helping the next generation of leaders.
That's great. And we'll dive into that a little bit more here. But I wanted to start off by asking you how you ended up in insurance. I know everyone kind of says that they fall into it or just kind of wound up in it, but how did you get here?
Yeah, typically same sort of thing. Like I was working with a legal tech startup that had pivoted over into the insurance industry. I had helped them, I got in and started to help them build their insurance vertical. The CEO founder I worked for thought there was a lot of opportunity. And I showed up at my first insurance conference and was like, wow, yeah, look at all this opportunity. This is where I want to build my career. So I got excited about it. And that was that was it. It was no looking back and started to make connections. And here I am.
That's great. Full steam ahead, right?
Yeah.
And what caused you to stay in insurance? I know you touched on it briefly, but is there anything that kind of keeps you here?
I think you hear it a lot. It's definitely the people. Like everyone that you meet, the connections you make, you realize there's a lot of fun, interesting, really smart people. And getting a chance to work with them and build things and build products and create solutions for our industry. It's really exciting. There's not like I was just at Target Markets last week, and there is nothing like our industry where you can just have opportunity after opportunity to build things with all kinds of different people, different backgrounds, different products.
Great. And now leading into how you started Rise. So what was the inspiration behind that and kind of where did that come from to be what it is today?
Well, when I first showed up at that first insurance conference, I remember hearing a CEO on stage talking about this talent gap. And I remember looking around the room, being the youngest person by at least a decade, and just being like, okay, well, where is everyone? And I had chaired a young professionals group in the industry that we were coming in from, which was in the banking industry. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go find a young professionals group. But there wasn't one. So I decided to start Rise. And it took me maybe 6 months of bouncing my ideas off people before I actually incorporated, but made it where I could bring other people along. And the idea was, okay, let's spotlight, let's recognize rising stars who are really amazing in the industry. And so when I launched the group, I launched it with top 10 rising stars in the insurance industry. And that was the original Rise Awards back in 2017. And it was a magazine and not at all what it is today. But it's morphed and it's turned into, okay, not only how can we recognize and how can we create this community for the top rising stars of our industry, but now how can we also attract new students and people into our industry and get them excited? And more importantly, how can we address changing the actual image of insurance for other people to not have this negative perception or, hey, it's boring or it's all pocket protectors or whatever the image that you see in the movies. People mention like the Incredibles movie and like, how the dad's an adjuster and like how terrible that is. Like maybe we could, can we replace that with TikToks, with Instagram videos, with what we actually do and highlight the stories of people who are doing cool things. So that's what we're all about.
That's great. And did you ever think that it would be what it is today when you started out with that magazine? Did you think it would grow into kind of this huge impact that you're making on the industry?
I had no idea it would look like it does today, but I definitely always hoped it would become something bigger. And I think it's really cool that it's so much bigger than me or even our team. There are thousands of members and there's all these volunteers and they're all doing so many cool things. The mentorship program had 240 pairs the last cohort, that's a lot of people with impact. And the stories that I hear that come out of that is, you know, the mentor saying how they got so much more out of it than they thought they gave in, and they had no idea, or they thought that they didn't have much to give. And come to find out the person they got paired with was like this perfect match for them, and they were able to help them overcome an obstacle at work and get a promotion and things like that. So yeah, I love, like, that's what energizes me, is to see this impact. I had no idea. I mean, I always hoped for something big, but I had no idea.
That's great. And that kind of adds another question that I was thinking about earlier today, is the speed mentoring that you do with the Leadership Summit, which we'll also talk about here in a minute. But where did that idea come from?
So before I got into insurance, here in Fort Lauderdale, I had actually participated in a women's like mentoring day, and I don't even know, like, I don't even remember what organization put it on, but they put on where they had a table of mentors of all these C-suite execs in Fort Lauderdale, of people, and you had a chance to go stand in line to talk to them, and they did like a speed mentoring round. So no, I did not come up with the idea. I basically took something that I thought was really cool, and we formed it for Rise. So we made it where, okay, now there's going to be all these tables with mentors, but you don't have to wait in line.
Yeah.
You just go sit at the table and have a conversation and listen in on questions. And I think it's one of people's favorite thing at the Leadership Summit, because you probably have things that you've thought of, like questions that you want to ask. And maybe you just don't get a chance to see that many C-suite executives on a daily basis. I mean, most of us work from home now. A lot of us maybe get a chance to talk to our own CEOs like once a blue moon, but for the most part, we're not really interacting on a daily basis. So having this opportunity to sit at a table with a COO, CEO, chief claim officer, chief underwriting officer from a company in the industry and get to pick their brain is just, I think, a huge value add. And then for the volunteers, the mentors, they love it. They have all these, they get to meet all these people, have all these interesting conversations. So it's a really good time. Like we did it before. We actually expanded it to an hour now because people wanted to do more of it.
Yeah. And that's great. It's like energizing, like you said earlier, just that opportunity to be able to engage with these C-suite people, like you said, that you aren't seeing on the regular basis. It can be a changing moment for these people's careers to sit down and maybe someone says something that really resonates with them. So that's so exciting. I can't wait to participate this year.
I know. Can't wait to have you there.
Yes. And now, kind of, what do you think, talking about the industry as a whole, is there anything in particular that you think is maybe lacking or that you wish you could change? I know we had talked about perception a little bit, but any particular aspect of the industry?
Definitely the image thing would be my number one on the list. But then almost like next up and almost related to that is, hey, I think that we really need a way to get the information about how to get started in the industry out there. So yes, the image attracting, but now, like, let's say we convinced my friend's son to give insurance a try. They don't know where to start. Like, let's say that they graduated from school a year or two ago, or they're just getting out of school. They don't really know where to go. So that's actually one of the things Rise is working on, is creating this like resource database of all of the trainee, rotational, sort of early career programs that are out there, because there are a bunch out there, but there's not like a centralized place for it. So that's something we're building, just sort of like making it easy. Like, okay, show me the way. What are the next few steps I need to take, and showing that. Because if you want to be a doctor, it's pretty easy. You got to go to medical school, you got to do X, Y, Z, pass this exam, go through your, rotational of the hospitals or whatever program. But what about for insurance? So I think like getting the knowledge out there of how to get in, how to get started, what are the first steps to take. As an industry, we could definitely do a better job of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, kind of, we have all these initiatives to bring people in and the different programs that we have in place, but keeping them is that next step, and making them aware of the opportunities, which is another thing that I know you're working on with Rise as well, is all these different careers and showcasing them as well. So.
Yeah,
definitely making an impact. And talking now about young insurance professionals, we get them in, we get them started. What is a common mistake or maybe a misstep that you see them making that you kind of think to yourself, oh, maybe they should do that differently?
Um, Common misstep when you're getting started in your career is being like really narrow minded to the path right in front of you. So I just started as a claims adjuster. Well, I think my path is claims manager or supervisor, and then I'm going to be a AVP, then a branch manager, AVP, whatever, and not actually looking at the insurance ecosystem to figure out like it doesn't have to be a ladder. Your career can be a lattice. You can go over here, you can go over there. What about managed care? What about subrogation? What about SIU? What about even flipping it, like underwriting? Like you don't have to stay in this ladder vision of your career trajectory. And kind of just being more open-minded and seeking out resources that can show you what else is out there, talking to your manager about your growth path and what other options they have. Like with Gallagher Bassett, there's a lot of options to move laterally or into other areas. There's analytics. Kind of just, I would say, like not being so set on what you think your plan is and being more open-minded to the world of possibilities.
Yes, and insurance is so big. There are a ton of possibilities out there, and so it's never ending. I feel like everywhere I look, every time I think I've learned roles in the industry, then I learn a new role. And it's this whole other world that's opened up for me of this is a whole avenue of possibilities down this way that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, for sure.
And now, so we talked about missteps. So now talking about pieces of advice, right? So I always ask people, what is a piece of advice that you wish you knew coming in, or that you wish you could tell a young professional maybe that's in your shoes? Is there any specific piece of advice that you have?
I have had so many mentors, and I have a ton of great career advice. I don't know how much you think is great, but I have like a ton of advice, lessons that I've learned that I wish I could pass down. But maybe the best piece of advice is to get a mentor, because you don't know what you don't know, and learning from other people can be so valuable. I don't think anybody is successful and says, I got here all by myself. It's always the people who've helped you along the way. So I'd say if you don't have a mentor, get one. If you have one, get another. And there's a difference between a mentor and a sponsor. You should have both. You should have an internal mentor at your company. You should also have a mentor outside your company. And you should have people that are looking out. One of our board members at Rise, Becky, likes to say, like, you are the driver. You're in the driver's seat of your own career. So kind of take charge and go seek out that mentor. One of the fun stories is people like to ask, like, who's your first mentor? How did you, get your first mentor? And actually that speed mentoring that I talked to you about here in Fort Lauderdale that I did with all these women executives, I actually pursued one of them after that event. And I put together a whole pitch on why she should be my mentor. And here's the goals that I'm trying to achieve. And here's why I think you'd be a good mentor for me. And here's like why I'm a good investment. And I went and pitched her on this. And she was my mentor for actually a couple of years. And I've had so many since. But kind of just looking back on that, it's the best piece of advice is like, don't wait. Go after it. Take charge. Nobody has your best interest in mind except for you.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I love that kind of elevator pitch that you had going. That's I never even thought about that, but that shows how dedicated and how willing you were to take her advice. I'm sure she was very impressed to see that.
Well, and you don't have to do that. You can, shameless plug, like sign up for the Rise mentorship program. We'll pair you with someone. I mean, you definitely should get across your goals and make it worth their time to mentor you in return, but also, like, you don't have to go out on a limb. You can just sign up. We'll pair you with someone, and you can learn how to have a mentoring relationship.
Yeah. And now I wanted to talk, you kind of segued into it, about the Leadership Summit. So there's this amazing Rise Leadership Summit in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm going to let you kind of give the spiel about what it is and why everyone should go.
Yeah, so June 16th through the 18th in Fort Lauderdale. We have the Rise Leadership Summit. We also have the Awards Gala, but it is 2 packed days of leadership training. It is amazing education where you're learning from top industry executives in bite-sized chunks. So we do TED-style talks, like 15-minute, hear from someone, very impactful, and then we have 30-minute workshops worked into there. There's 2 different tracks. So if you're more entry level or an individual contributor, we have this personal development track. And then if you're more senior or you manage people, we have a management track. So there's something for everyone. And we do the speed mentoring. We have the award gala. We have fun social activities. You can do yoga on the beach. There's, a fun welcome reception. But we really do, like we were saying, like we're trying to change the image of what insurance is. Like if you're looking for a stodgy old conference, like that's not us. Like we are doing things different, bending the rules. No, it's not just a party, but it might look like one from the outside, but you're going to walk away with so much knowledge that you're going to be able to take back to your company, and take back novel ideas, take back connections. You can have team bonding at the event. I mean, companies that are really investing in sending their team, they're seeing the ROI and they're sending more people the next year. I mean, we're seeing it in the numbers that companies are sending like 5, 10, 15 of their own employees to our event. And that's why we're growing year after year, is really more of these companies sending more people.
Yeah.
And so I would say, like, if you haven't signed up, like this is your call. This is the time. Like, don't miss it. We're just over a month away.
Yeah.
So that it's the perfect time to get in there and to come. And if your company won't send you, back to that advice of, take charge of your own career. Like, look into coming on your own. It's not that much. It's a small investment and you're going to get so much out of it. So highly recommend for anybody who's on the fence.
Yes.
And actually, I think we have like a little channel partner discount we can send out with this.
That would be awesome. Yeah. So
for those that are listening.
Yes. So definitely everyone sign up for the Leadership Summit. We'll be there. You can introduce yourself. And that's another thing. It's a great opportunity to make connections and go up to that person and introduce yourself. And that could be a moment that changes your career forever. So you never know what'll happen. And definitely come join us at the Leadership Summit.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you again for having me, and look forward to seeing you in June.
Yes.